Well, welcome back, my friends, all to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. Very, very special, very important rendition. Now, this is the Eagle. It was designed by Gabe over at The Last Huntsman Outdoors. Go over, subscribe to Gabe. He's a good dude. He's a knife reviewer, does bushcraft stuff, all that. Really good guy. And this is his design. It was made by Jacob over at a very good knife company. Now, I got to meet him and Miss Becca at Blade Show, two phenomenal people. In fact, while Jacob and I were standing there talking, we come up with this idea. Now listen, if you're new here, or this is your first Choir Boys video, here's the deal. I'm gonna ramble. Sometimes it'll be about what's going on. Sometimes it's just me talking. Check the knife out. If you really want to check it out good, turn the volume down. Play some music at whatever, Ave Maria, or We're Not Going to Take It. I don't care what you play, really. I don't even know why that matters. But do that and watch the knife work. I tried to put it through a ton of shit. But here's the deal. I was at Blade Show. One of the hottest people talked about at Blade Show was me. Physically good looking, I was it. But when it came to the knives, the hot new maker was Jacob. And that's not just from people buying. I mean, that's from knife makers. That's from vendors. He was the name being talked about. It was the first time we'd actually got to meet in person. So as we're standing there talking, he says, "Cam, do you want me to send you a knife or not?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Every time I go to send you a knife, you make a video about you don't want no damn free knives." I said, "Well, I don't." I said, "But understand what I'm saying." I said, "One, you got to ignore me. What I'm saying is, I don't want you to feel like you have to give me a knife." I said, what I like to do, or what I would like to do is review your stuff and send it back to you. And so as we're standing there talking, he goes, "Well, why don't we do this? Why don't you pick a knife, take it home, review it, and we'll auction it all?" And I laughed. And he laughed. He said, "No, I'm serious." I said, "Okay." So we're going to auction this knife off. Jacob's going to auction this knife off. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the review. It's amazing, as you can already tell at 2 minutes and 30 seconds in. Phenomenal knife. It really is. It's a great design, and we're going to talk all about it in a minute, but I got to get through this part. I'm going to review this. I'm probably going to do a few shorts with it over the weekend. Monday, I'm sending this back to Jacob. He's going to clean it up, hone it up, put the edge back like it should be, and then on July 4th, he's going to auction it off. There will be a video in the description of this video from Jacob telling you what you need to do. I think there's 100 tickets. I think it's only $10 a piece. Every single dime that's raised off of this knife will go to St. Jude's Hospital, which is amazing. So that's why we're doing all this. I've already reviewed this knife one time and I love it. Now, that being said, let's talk about the knife. It comes with a Kydex sheath with a nylon strap to hold it in. It's one of Kirk's favorite carries like that. Really, really good, crisp Kydex. You can hear it. Let's do it again. Really good on the Kydex. It's got micarta handle scales. It's 80 CRV2 steel. I like that steel. I'm a fan of that steel. It works well for what I do and what I need to do with it. Now, he put a hellacious, wicked edge on this thing. Right here, I'm going to shut up. Let's just watch the knife. This is kind of a tri-stick, just kind of messing around a little bit though. What I wanted to do here, and I'm going to try to talk about each thing we do as we go. What I was wanting to do here is just show the control of the knife. I didn't do a full tri-stick. It was just a couple little half notches, things like that. But to hopefully show you how easy this knife is to manipulate, and it's super damn sharp. That helps. A sharp knife is a safe knife, and it is a great, easy knife to review. I don't give a shit what it looks like if it's sharp, and Jacob always makes them sharp. They're easy to review. Here we're using the tip a little bit. What I like is the way Gabe's designed this is for a do-all camp knife, right? It's a sax, or as Blackie Thomas would say, a C-axe. It's a sax. Now, Because of American culture and TV, we always want to kind of put this with the Vikings. The truth is, the sax style blade has been found in graves as far back as the 4th and 5th century in Frankish graves. You'll also hear people say, well, the idea come from a broken sword. It could have. I think sometimes we want to come up with a very, very simplistic answer because we look back through history. At times we look like we try to be a little more superior or we're more intelligent. And what we have to remember, guys, is this. Everything is relative to the time. So while it very well could have been inspired by a broken sword, I tend to believe that necessity drives invention. And there's so many different areas and arenas and places on earth and people doing different things that this particular style knife fit the needs of those tribes at that time. I like a sax. I always have. It's very, very versatile. For me, they make great work knives. Now, what you are going to see in this video is a shit ton of cutting. A lot of cutting. More cutting than I normally do. I wanted to wear the edge down because Jacob's going to redo it anyway. But I wanted to just cut and cut and cut. And right here, this is that 4-ply sandblast hose. This is some nasty stuff here. This particular piece that I'm cutting was difficult, but it's because of the location of where it was in the hose. One thing that I don't talk about a lot, and because it's boring as hell, but on a sandblast hose coming off the pot, typically it blows out where it makes the turn, like it hooks to the bottom of the pot, the sand comes out, air and sand go through the hose, come out, and you sandblast. Well, if the hose is bent and it stays bent, obviously that sand's going to be a little more abrasive in that corner, right? Those areas are easier to cut because the insides wore down. This particular piece, or that particular piece that you saw me cut, was in an area of the hose that had barely any wear or tear, right? It had blown out in so many spots, I had to get a new hose. That particular piece was super cut, knife went through it very, very well. I like doing this. I like taking the tip and taking a water hose, putting the tip in and sliding it up, almost like you're skinning or caping. It's just the control of the knife. Not going through the back of the water hose, but just being able to slide it in and slide up, like if you were going straight up an animal carcass. It's just a little something I do. And the more that I've done this, guys, the more that I've come to realize, instead of trying to accomplish specific tasks or, make a tri-stick, maybe just do some of the movements. Instead of chopping all the way through something, do some chopping. If the heat treat is not on point, the damage is going to be done regardless, right? So instead of going through full things now, I try to do bits and pieces, but give you a good enough look at the knife where you're looking at me using it. You see me using a knife every day, so you can get a feel for how well I can use a knife or how well I can use a particular style blade and what blades give me trouble. By doing it repetitiously, I feel like you can focus more on the knife and less on me, if that makes sense. If it don't make sense, act like it does, and we'll all be better for it. So at the back of the car here, you just see over and over and over again. And I could have sped this up. I really could. But again, I wanted to give you kind of a full length, full deal thing. When you make the knife sharp, I've said this a while ago, but I want to touch on it. A sharp knife is a safe knife. Now, this knife is super sharp and super safe, but it is also super safe because it is well built. This is a truck tire. It is a steel belted tire. There is steel all throughout that sidewall I'm going to show you. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is to see if those wires did any damage to the edge. Now, here's the thing. This thing came sharp, and you can see right there, and I try to give you, let's see if we can see. Maybe right there at the top, but that, dude, stropping that will get that out. This particular tire will wreck your shit. There's a sweet double tap. And I like doing the bottles one, it's fun. I've said that from the get-go. But doing bottles, honestly, it gives me a good idea of the weight and the balance of the knife. Instead of bushcrafting and shit like that, which I like to do. I like starting a fire. We do that in this thing. We do all that. But I also like to have some fun with it. And there are certain knives, I've said this before, that are like extensions of your hand. This knife is an extension of my hand. When I chopped, I actually dropped my pinky off the bottom. It's got kind of a bird beak bottom. So I was able to drop my pinky, choke down, and get some good leverage. Just drop my damn tape measure. With that being said, let's pull some measurements on this thing. Now, I do have another review of this knife. Gabe has a couple reviews of this knife because it's his design. I'll try to find some of them and post them. Here we're going to start a fire. And the longer I've done this, starting a fire or having a knife that's capable of shaving fat wood, striking a ferro rod is very important to me where I'm at in my knife journey. It may not be to everybody, but you'll see me constantly and consistently, especially with the custom knives. I review a lot of knives, but guys, I review a lot of American makers, a lot of small makers, and I like to see if they can start a fire. It's just a personal thing. Strikes a ferro rod like a sumbitch. Jacob puts a sweet 90-degree spine on it. Overall lengths, kids, is 12 3/8 inches. We have 6 3/4 inches on the blade length. We have 6 1/4 inches cutting edge. The blade width at its widest point is 2 inches. The blade stock, that's looking right there at 3/16. And for those of you who don't know, I pull all the measurements. The inner grip on this thing, which is super important to me, from the top guard to the top of the bird beak, just so you guys will know what I'm talking about, what I'm referencing there, is right at 4 7/16. There's not a handle on this planet that can't hold this knife. The handle thickness is right at 5/8. So it's got a nice handle, gives you plenty of space, plenty of purchase. Everything is chamfered beautifully. I'm a handle guy. If you can't hold it, you can't use it. This knife is incredibly easy to manipulate. It's got a slight sharpening choil there, but the handle, the ergos of the handles, I can flip it around in my hand. I can use it for long periods of time. There's no hot spots. It has a nice palm swell. It does have a lanyard hole in the bottom. Coming out of the bottom of the handle scales, we do have a nice striking pommel, a wig splitter, nut splitter, whatever you want to call it, right? The tip is reinforced. Now, again, right here with the chopping, I just thought, and most of the time, guys, you're probably not going to use the sacks for chopping. You're not going to use your solid, your really, really nice, your really good camp knife, I would think, for doing a lot of wood processing. What I would think you would use it for: skinning, caping, cleaning game, cooking, setting up camp. Then if you need to split some wood, if you forget a tool, this knife can handle it. What I would like to do, I'll be going to Kirk's at some point this weekend. I've got a lot of videos to catch up on. I got to go in the swamp with some blades from Sabo. I've got some knives from JR to finish. I got some Jacob Lamb sent me. So I got a lot going on, but what I do want to do is do a video with this knife processing up some wood, other than pine. We've got some oak and some things like that over at Kirk's, and I would like to do that. It is a gorgeous knife, guys, and I'm telling you, if you haven't put in a raffle ticket, $10, it's worth it. It goes to a great cause. Now, I don't take in one dime on this channel. I am avid and hardcore set against it. Jacob, I trust. They're going to take you'll buy the tickets from Jacob. Again, I'll put that link to his video in the description. It's just easier for me, guys. That kind of stuff kind of freaks me out a little bit. But Jacob has Miss Becca to help. help, and she will keep it in line and keep it going, I promise y'all. Here I'm just dicking around with a knife. I mean, if you want the truth. That's what I do most of the time anyway. But to me, the way that I demonstrate knives, and I made a short addressing this, people say, well, I could use this or that. Yep, you could. Sure could, but that's not what the video's about. And I'm not saying that like an ass. When I do these reviews, I don't do comparisons. I don't do any of that. Now, as knives don't come in as much, we'll do some of that, but we're a ways from that. Listen, real quick, Raybo34. Shout out to a channel called Raybo34. I'm going to tag him in the description. Y'all go make sure you check him out. I was watching some of his videos this morning. I like what he's got going on. I think you will too. So check out The Last Huntsman and Raybo34. That being said, guys, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now, we're headed right into the weekend. That number's going up. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. Man, you have a place here. Guys, I back the blue. And like I say every night, I'm not arguing with you about it. It's a personal thing. I don't shove it down your throat. Something I believe in. Finally, if you are an addict, and I am, never quit quitting. Well, guys, I'm Scab. You're not. The Eagle's badass, son.